is Chelsea DeNofa. And, you know, just talking to him last night, he says the car was a beast last night, and he really had to wheel that thing, but he made it look very easy, hence being our #1 qualifier. The number 88, his Infinity 4 Back to the Future, bleeds into and onto his helmet. Here we go. Chelsea DeNofa, Josh Reynolds, our first battle of the top 32 here in Orlando. And look at that quickly, Chelsea DeNofa. Look at Josh Reynolds absolutely flexing on, no. And Josh Reynolds goes hard in the wall, and you can see shredding that front bumper, the back bumper of Chelsea DeNofa. He's going to continue on through the course as he does have to because he is the lead car, making that look too easy, Ryan. A lot of the fans on their feet, getting hyped. But Ryan, what happened to Reynolds? Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, from this vantage point up here, I was looking right into the smoke line, and we'll definitely want to take a look at that again. But looks like a lot of damage there to Reynolds out front.
Hopefully it's just aesthetic and just that front bumper. Let's take a look.
Let's take a look here. DeNofa getting sideways like my boy Taylor Sterling on his YZ250, locking into that big bank right there. Now watch right here. Reynolds is going to get lost in the smoke. Yes, he's going to tap that rear bumper and get sucked right in. That's the first incident that we've seen here in competition. This has happened in practice quite a bit. But unfortunately, once he taps, he kind of straightens out a little bit and really has nowhere to go. As you said, Jared, rightly, Chelsea DeNofa at that point does need to finish the run. DeNofa sticks in it. He may have even some damage to his vehicle on the rear right. You can obviously see the bumper flying off there, but that is not uncommon.
No.
And as we see him wrap around this final turn, he will have a full pull in the books here. But for Reynolds, on the other hand, I believe the judges will indicate to us shortly here that he will have an incomplete on his chase run.
Yeah, there was nothing out front that Chelsea did that was out of character. He initiated, he was throwing it down. Josh Reynolds getting too eager, excited, whatever you want to call it, gets in. Chelsea DeNofa in that BC Racing Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. And let's lay out and just watch our #1 qualifier. He advances on into the top 16, Chelsea DeNofa. And here we are, let's make it official. Chelsea DeNofa. Chelsea DeNofa advances on. So DeNofa and Reeder, two Pacific Northwest boys, going against each other. Well, I should take Chelsea originally from Philly, but Reeder from UHK G57, again, Hyundai Sonata, UHK G57, you lock something in. Hyundai Sonata, Florida plate, UHK G57, with your vehicle. All right, here we are back as, again, Chelsea DeNofa, we saw him. He'll be sitting, waiting to see if Joshua Reynolds is able to run. Right now, Dylan Hughes, Travis Reeder, send it. Dylan Hughes initiates. Again, two great friends, but now bitter enemies. Come on, let's go. Dylan Hughes high on the bank. Travis Reeder right there, holding it down. Now transition over the jump. You see the attitude of the vehicles, taking out that front clip, that second inside clip, and Travis Reeder all over D. Hughes, that royal purple O'Reilly Auto Parts GT Radial BMW.
Okay.
Yeah.
A clean start here with these two friends, and as you said, looking like enemies on the track there. Let's take a look at Dylan Hughes and Travis Reeder. Hughes gets a great jump here, but Reeder trying to dive in, getting in the pocket there, right up against the wall, following Hughes like that moving clipping point. Notice the mirroring effect there. Looks so beautiful coming down through the smoke line. Good transition here by Hughes managing the jump, but Reeder sticking with him. Just a little bit tight on that inside clip, sacrificing a little bit of line to gain that proximity. Probably the right move, because look how impressive this looks as they come through the finish line there. And a great start from Dylan Hughes and Travis Reeder. One more time from the sky. You can see here Reeder eyeing him up, locking in on that line, trying to get as close as he possibly can. And that's really only possible because Hughes is driving an incredible lead run of his own. really hitting all the marks, pushing out to the second outside zone, and allowing the opportunity for the chase driver to have a chance here, and that chance is taken very well there by Travis Reeder.
Wrestling match for everybody to see. Travis Reeder, shout out my boy Gunnar Taft in the building, cranking them claws. There are laws contrary when you do drink claws. I don't know why everybody kind of started branding that. Regardless of what libation you partake in, there are laws. Here we go, Travis Reeder and Dylan Hughes. Reeder initiates, nice and high on the bank. Reeder throwing it down, Dylan Hughes right there. Look at these guys, are adorable. Oh man, we're best of friends, but not right now. As Reeder pulling away from Dylan Hughes, gets into the crease, gets into the groove. Dylan Hughes falling back a little bit. That link engine management, BMW on GT radials, both these guys shredding on the GTs. Ryan, do you think the needle goes either way? What do you say?
Well, there was a lot of pressure being applied to Hughes when Hughes was in the lead by Reeder, and we see Hughes coming back with a fight of his own in the chase position, sticking with him, looking pretty good, maybe equal on the bank in terms of proximity, but we start to see a little point of difference here from that point forward. You see Hughes kind of shallows up a little bit and then starts losing ground to Reeder, who's got a little bit more grip in the car, it looks like. He's still able to get deep into that outside zone, so he's not running away. Just he's able to pull a little bit of a gap on Hughes. And will that be enough to move Reeder forward into the top 16?
Let's take a look at the BC Racing side-by-side graphic. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold. By the way, that's some epic music playing right now. I don't know if somebody's live's going to be saved, or if these guys become bitter enemies now. I feel like this is just establishing a pivotal moment in the triumphant movie that is Hughes versus Reeder. You can see Hughes, the lead driver, on the left, Reeder, the lead driver, on the right. A good comparison. You can see Reeder really sweating Hughes on that second outside zone. Looks like Dylan falls back quite a bit on that second outer zone, but like I always say, I know the judges don't kind of go towards one area in specific, but I know that a lot of attention is leaning towards that first outside zone. So here we go. Slide him left for Hughes, right for Reeder. And there goes Brian Egger towards Reeder, and there it is. Travis Reeder gets the win, knocked out top 32 as Reeder Z's and S13s, and now Chris has been on Nissan for quite some time. Dio Shihara, we've seen him, even in a GTO back in the day, and just think about just all the vehicles. Forsberg been consistently with a Nissan, even Nissan power plant. So here we go with that VR powered 370Z. Forsberg out front, and Dio Shihara with that LS turbocharged Subaru BRZ, massive angle there from Chris Forsberg. These guys are throwing it down here past that first front clip. Now transitioning through the jump into that second front inside clip. There goes Forsberg into that second outside zone. Dio Shihara taking a bit of a shallower line. He's going to bring it out there, and he does. Tucks right in to that smoke trail as Dio Shihara, look at that. He's on that right-hand side. He moved the steering column over to the other side a couple years ago.
Well, so many years of drifting between these two guys, as you said, Jared, and championships as well. Forsberg out front. Look how close he is to the wall all the way around, looking very fluid and smooth. Dye tucking behind that smoke line there, narrowly getting lost. He comes up on the inside, gets a little bit tight on that inside clip, trying to close the door on the three-time champ. He's about a half a car length away, starting to reel him in, but Forsberg sticking down on the track here and really getting a lot of forward bite, but maintaining a really good line on that final outside zone. Here it is from above. You get a good idea of where Chris was off the track relative to Dye, and then moving through this inside clip. Really good line being drawn here by Chris Forsberg on that first and second inside clip. So it's a solid lead run by Chris, and now we'll have an opportunity to switch it up. Dye will have a chance of his own as Chris Forsberg will chase him down.
Dio Shihara will lead. Turn 14 distribution, Falcon tires, Subaru BRZ. Chris Forsberg piloting that NOS energy drink. Nissan 370Z on GT radials. Dio Shihara been on Falcon 10 plus years, I believe it has been now. It's just different iterations, different vehicles. It looks like we have a clean start. Here we go. Dio Shihara out front, Forsberg in that chase position. Dio Shihara throws it down. You can see Dye Pulling away from Forsberg. Let's see if we can reel him in. Nice and high is Dai Yoshihara. Now past that first front inside clip. Over the jump. Both of them hop, skip, and a jump. Past the second inside clip. Dai Yoshihara. Massive angle there. Forsberg falls back quite a bit. Does keep that outside line. Let's take a look. I think the BC Racing side-by-side instant replay will definitely help Ryan.
Yeah, you know, the table for one driver goes to one side and then swings back to the others. Daijiro Yoshihara gets a great lead run here out front. Nice and high on the bank. Forsberg was down a little bit lower. Forsberg navigates through the smoke pretty well. We see how tricky that area can be. And then Dai locks in on this second outside zone, really mashing the throttle here. Look how thick the smoke cloud is from Forsberg as he surges forward, knows he's trying to catch up here towards the last part of that outside zone. And a back and forth battle here between these two champions. What are the judges thinking? You can see Chris right here did not really get a good jump into the first corner with Daijiro Yoshihara relative to the previous run, but he did have that great lead run. So kind of balancing some of the minor mistakes here by both drivers. And what are the judges going to think about this in its entirety as we see the clock ticking down here for Reynolds? It does not look like they are going to get it done with just 10 seconds left to go.
Yeah, you can see the boys tearing away. That back left corner is absolutely all torn apart. And again, it needs to be on the ground. That just seems like a lot of work as our two champions sit there awaiting the outcome of this battle. Right, some history being made here. Two full top 32 head-to-head competitions between Pro Spec and Pro going down. And here it is, the BC Racing go for gold. Side-by-side instant replay. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift, go for gold.
Well, you see here how Dai's a little bit closer on his chase run. He has a good lead, but Forsberg had a phenomenal lead run, and we always know that the judges really look favorably upon that because a great lead run really does give the chase an opportunity to do their job as well, and then it becomes the responsibility of the chase to do that, hence the lead and chase driver goals. Close battle here. This is a tough one. I'm kind of in between myself, and it is all the judges now to kind of give us that determination.
Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Dai Yoshihara. There's a one more time from Brian Egger and a one more time from Ryan Lontaine. And Chris Yule says Daijiro Yoshihara. Was that in crime battle between these OGs, Chris Forsberg and Dai Yoshihara. Forsberg leaves the line leading as Forsberg qualified 8th, Yoshihara qualified 25th. Massive angle there from Chris Forsberg. Dai Yoshihara pour some more angle on it. Massive, maxed out angle from Forsberg. Cannot see Dai Yoshihara through that jump. Past that second front clip. Gets into the groove as Forsberg. Yoshihara massaging it out there. Just a bit shy, about a tire tread shy of getting all the way out to that outside line, Ryan.
This battle all goes back to yesterday. Remember, Daijiro Yoshihara incompleted on his first qualifying and got relegated to the second group. And so that is why we're seeing such a crazy battle here between two contenders as Chris Forsberg takes a lead in this one more time battle. Daijiro Yoshihara through the smoke line, surging forward, trying to land right in the pocket there against Chris Forsberg, number 64, swinging around the final left-hand turn here at Orlando, with Dai just falling back a tiny bit, trying to give a fight there towards the end. Let's take a look at it from the sky. Dai going nose to tail here, looking for that opportunity to get close on the bank. He does a pretty good job there. Slightly less angle and a surging forward for a second there. That makes him have to back off for a second. Surges forward again, so looking for multiple areas to attack here. Not necessarily getting that close proximity and then keeping that duration for a really long period of time. So interesting strategy there from Dai. He will now take the lead. We know how.
Ryan's word of the day, relegated. Relegated, a past tense version of relegate, to consign or dismiss to an inferior rank or position. Relegated. Here we go, Dai Yoshihara and Chris Forsberg on the second half of this battle.
Accurate description, though.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's proper use of the word relegated. Thank you, Ryan Sage. Professor Sage, delivering all the knowledge. Here we go, Dai Yoshihara. Oh, and Dai taps the wall. The trunk opens up, but he keeps on. No, it does not. Sorry, it does not open up. That is just his wing. So Dio Shihara stays in and pitted to win it. Let's go, boys. Make some noise, Orlando. Dio Shihara slaps the base big time, but keeps it on going. Woo! That could have gotten ugly real quick. But Dio Shihara, yo.
Well, it's obviously a really aggressive approach here from Dai, and will it be too much aggression? He doesn't straighten out for a long period of time, but he certainly loses a lot of angle in the vehicle, and that's going to be a potential point of difference between him and Chris on the lead run. Now on the chase run, as Forsberg is trying to close the door here, you see him surging forward to inside clip number 2, then backing off, pretty similar to Dai. Not getting that close proximity with longer duration, but just moments of closeness and then backing off. However, Chris is closer towards the latter part of the final outside zone. So is that enough there to make the needle point in any one direction? Here it is from our camera right above the first outside zone. You can see that Dai is kind of swinging in really big into that first outside zone. And then from there, he taps it and then comes with a reduction of angle, but then he's able to quickly get back on it, and Chris wasn't really affected by it too much. He kind of stayed right there in it as well, and that just basically is from experience. Knowing what to do in those situations and not getting all freaked out, and it looks like we do have a score.
Slide him left for Forsberg, slapping the base big time. Dio Shihara, unfortunately, does not deliver. It was a great run there. The defending champ. The NOS Energy Drink Top 32. And here goes Vaughn Gitt Jr., who in practice, before we turned on the switch to go on the live stream, Vaughn Gitt Jr. is absolutely just backing that thing up. And you know, like when you're in a car and the sensors start beeping really loud, they weren't beeping, they were like screaming at him if there were some parking sensors on that Ford Mustang. And this is another classic Ford versus Ferrari battle here, not for the movies but in real life. Here we go, Vaughn Gitt Jr. and Federico Sciarrifo. These guys saw battle against each other in Atlanta as well, so it's a repeat. So Fetty gets dealt some tough hands here. But speaking of hands, let's see where the hands go. Vaughn Gitt Jr., number 9 qualifier versus Fetty, qualifying 24th. Vaughn Gitt Jr. quickly gets to the side, gets to that wall. Nice job as Fetty, a little bit lower on the bank as the sparks fly over the jump, 3-wheel motion. Again, looking like a rap video. Looking loose is Vaughn Gitt Jr. Fetty. Back there just a little bit, not too far off, but on the bank, you can see quite a significant distance and a gap between the two vehicles.
Well, in a real life Ford versus Ferrari, we see Vaughn Gitt Jr. get out to a pretty dominating start here, laying down a solid, clean lead run on the big bank. Federico not able to get out of the gate as quickly as Vaughn is kind of left playing catch up here. Vaughn not missing any marks. Hits that second inside clip, gets to the outside zone, locks in. We start to see Fede starting to gain a little ground here towards the end, but a little bit too late to make an impression on the judges. So we will switch things up. And it looks like, hey, look at this, Jared. We see Vaughn Gitt Jr. and Fede going off course there. That means somebody's calling a competition timeout. It may be Fede. I thought he might have gone off first, but as we take a look at the replay one more time, off camera here, we are seeing both drivers leave the track with what seems to be a pretty strong advantage for Vaughn Gitt Jr. after run number 1.
All right, so Vaughn, we are hearing that Federico did call a competition timeout. If Jr. will take his second half of this run and he will advance on into the top 16. Vaughn Gitt Jr., the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. RTR ready to rock. I know Vaughn's going to be over there at Drift Night over at Freedom Factory with our boy Cletus McFarland. Shout out Cletus. What's up, homeboy? James, get the toolbox. No toolbox needed right now. Is coming down into that first front clip over the hip. Back to his motocross days. And there it is, Vaughn Gitt Jr. pounding away on the blue oval. That is the Ford Hot Rod of RTR. Ready to rock, RTR, for a new generation of Ford tuning. Not just limited Ford Mustangs, but the new Bronco Sport F-150. Professional fun haver. You driver, team principal, you know, operating another vehicle in pro spec. Definitely a busy man. Yeah, definitely looking forward to how Evan Bogovic will throw down. Some people making comments, is that Odie driving? I mean, definitely has some glimmers of success. As here we go with our next battle. Odie Bakshis and Wataru Masayama. Odie Bakshis initiates up on the bank. Looks like textbook, exactly what he was doing in practice. Masayama just slightly lower. And past that front clip, you see Masayama overshooting that inside clip, both the first and the second, about the third hash mark, and into that second outer zone. Ryan, this is exactly why Odie Bakshis is your points leader. Consistency is key, and just getting familiar. He's been campaigning S chassis for a long time.
Yeah, and I think one thing that really sticks out that we'll probably be talking about a lot during this competition is how well the drivers manage the transition through the power alley. Watch right here, you can see Masayama goes wide, and once he does that and transitions back around, Odie's gone. Yep. He is at least 4 car lengths ahead, and you cannot give that kind of opening to Odie Bakshis. He will absolutely take advantage of it. But Odie is so laser focused as a lead driver with being out front, not having to worry about a smoke line. He's just trying to go out there and lay down a 100-point qualifying run, right? He'll worry about the chase driver going to the lead when they switch things up, which is right now. We know how dangerous he is in that position. But for this one, solid lead run there. Masayama made that mistake. It was hard for him to gain ground back up, so I think he will be at a disadvantage going into run number 2.
Yeah, absolutely capitalizing on that is Odie Bakshis. Run 2 here. Masayama, Odie Bakshis. So Masayama will lead. Have to assume a little bit of a deficit. He's going to need to throw down because he knows who's in his rearview mirror. Masayama initiating a lot higher here, and that allows Odie, you can see, he's trying to get that forward traction, and Odie Bakshis jumps to the side of him. Look at that transition. That was very interesting. That didn't seem very Odie-like. He shallowed up the angle to shoot forward, but it actually didn't end up paying off. He was trying to be more predictive in what Masayama was going to do and end up kind of not throwing him offline, but a little offline.
Well, I think it was kind of the same thing that happened to Masayama in his chase. Let's take a look at it here. Odie giving a little bit of a gap, trying to reel him in here on the big bank, using that left foot brake, try to control the vehicle. Coming down, he's going to start getting lost in that smoke line. Look at the transition. It was big angle, then he comes up on the inside, and he's a bit too tight. He's starting to get choked up here. This allows Masayama to maintain his line, stay out front. So it's a very similar mistake that Masayama made. And we heard from Chelsea Denofa earlier about his perspective that the middle section is the hardest part of the track. You know, you got the jump for one reason, you've got the smoke blinding you, and the transition is incredibly important to set up the second half of the course. So this is not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is up in the air for both drivers at this point with something like equal mistakes. So let's take a look here and see what the judges think. I'm sure we're going to see at least one more replay.
And somebody's pointing out to me, Odie DB'd, I believe. Let's see where that's at. And it's so funny. We're watching so many things. Just when that happens, you normally don't see it. So he might have DB'd when he slammed down.
Well, if he did, it's good that it happened on this run, right? Because he can finish the run, and no matter what happens, if it's a one more time or if he wins, he can change the tire. It's not going to have any impact on the judging. It's just going to have an impact on his performance, and maybe that's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is exactly what you said.
Kind of like I got this.
Yeah, I got you.
Messed
dog.
me up.
You know what? I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna head out. All right, like SpongeBob. All right, I'm gonna head out. How we doing out there, Orlando? You having fun? A beautiful day. Oh, come on, man. We weren't here in 2020. You got to have some pent-up energy. Said, Orlando, how you doing out there? Make some noise. Slide him left to Odie. Slide him right for Masayama. And there it is. It's unanimous. I'll tell you that he is absolutely very aggressive. Michael Essa initiates. high on the bank. Look at this, both of them textbook initiation on that outside zone. Let's see how they handle that first front clip. Alec Robbins tucks into smoke signal, does not phase him whatsoever. Ooh, but then he does center punch that second inside clip. And on that second outside zone, good execution. I gotta tell you, that was a really good chase job. I liked how Alec Robbins tucked in, was not affected by the smoke. Very little, if at all.
Yeah, and you can see he kind of backed off at the beginning and then chose to close here on that first outside zone. Essa, though, you have to be really careful with that because Michael Essa is such a smooth and clean driver. He is really good at that lead position, so you want to take advantage of every opportunity the lead driver gives you. And you can see Robbins there just getting a little bit too close to that inside clip number 2. And right here, it's a battle towards the end as both drivers maxing out the angle through the finish line, with Robbins coming close to Michael Essa right as they go through. Here it is again from above, Jared, one more time. You can see Robbins there aggressively trying to approach Michael Essa. Essa giving him some opportunities here to dive in, but Robbins gets pinched off a little bit at inside clip number 2. And right here we see a great mirroring effect from both drivers coming through the finish line. Let's switch it up. Alec Robbins will take the lead against Michael Essa.
Oh man, Harrison Hibbett out there playing some G at Victoria Club. Shout out to the boys. Alec Robbins. Let's see how he throws it down. Really like the way Robbins has progressed through the years. I know he drifted an MDU in a truck actually, and now he's campaigning his 350Z. Yes, sir, Robbins. All the way high, a little bit higher than Michael Essa even. About the second hash mark on that. Oh boy, Michael Essa shallows it up, dipping that one front left tire. That's just a small deduction essentially, but Robbins putting it right into the groove. Now Ryan, this is another scenario. Michael Essa has been on one tire manufacturer for multiple years, right? So now he has to switch it up and just getting familiar with the car, getting reacquainted, because that definitely is a variable.
Yeah, looking to get acquainted here with Alec Robbins, trying to put on a great head-to-head matchup here in the chase position. Michael Essa, a former champion, going up against Robbins, trying to become the next driver to move on into the top 16. So you can see here, a little bit tight there by Essa, but Robbins also makes contact with it. The final turn as they approach, sweeping to the left. Alec Robbins leading Michael Essa right through the finish line. And again, both drivers come door to door as they pass right in front of the main grandstand here, Jared. A great battle from Michael Essa and Alec Robbins.
All right, let's see who comes out on top. And here it is, the BC Racing custom coilovers side-by-side instant replay. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. And there it is. You can see Essa leading on the right, Robbins leading on the left. You can see Robbins was a little bit off of the first inside clip, but then Essa was off and really shallow on the second. So just again, just the tolerances need to be scrutinized. But again, Michael Essa, the former champ, going against, again, a fairly new driver, Alec Robbins, that Facetto Koenig wheels, 350Z. Scores are in. Slide him left for Essa, right for Robbins. Brian Eggert says Alec Robbins. Nope, gosh, okay, so Chris Ewell is now up top. And there it is, Alec Robbins gets the win. Robbins, and looks like Eggert says one more time. Two judges went with Robbins and one went with one more time. Let's just disregard the flags. Let's just leave it at that. It's in Atlanta. Here we are, round 2 of 8. The Formula Drift Pro Championship. Start chicane, no cones hit. Oh. And, oh, is Rome having issues or no? Oh, yeah. Okay. Now that could very well be. That's a late start, right? I mean, I'm kind of looking over at the judges to see what is dictated here. I mean, that's beyond the point of no return, right? So late initiation, so that will be an incomplete, unfortunately for Rome. Sounds like he's got a bit of a cough. He needs to take some medicine. The sequential was far from sequential. It was in converse.
Well, not a great start here. Obviously gets a really late initiation, and I believe that was past the last standing initiation point. So that is going to be a strong incomplete there, unfortunately. And you hate to see it with a mechanical situation. Certainly something was not going right there for him, and it will be both drivers going back to the line, but not in the order that they just took off. It's going to be switching it up with an incomplete for car number 171, Rome Charpentier. So unfortunately, he'll have to try to do his best here in the chase run to try to make up some of the ground lost for the mistake in run number 1.
Shout out to J.R. Hildebrand. J.R. Hildebrand, who competed in the Formula Drift Championship for a while. I know he loved the competition with Penske, so has some fun there. J.R. Hildebrand, what's up, homeboy? Oh, look at this. Self-inflicted wave, bro. You can do it. You can do it all night. Yes, that's right. Talk about the wave. Here we go. Simon Olsen making some noise. The fans are restless. Simon Olsen, Rome Charpentier. Simon throwing it in. Can make it in the top 16 once again. Rome, is that too little too late? Definitely right there, tucked in. Woo! Man, that BMW lunging forward. Oh man, Simon, great angle, and Rome is right there shadowing him. Oh, but that's exactly what it needed to do. But he has that incomplete on the first run. If he only had a decent lead run, I will tell you, that would have gotten victory, man.
I feel like a really beautiful thing was taken away from us here because of the mechanical issue. An incredible chase run here from Rome Charpentier. Right out of the gate, he starts closing on Simon Olsen. Olsen is giving him a great opportunity. Look at that angle through inside clip number 1 from Olsen out front. As he wraps back around, both drivers aggressively pursuing this final outside zone. And look at Rome, literally inches away, backs off for a second, and he maybe was 16 to 18 inches.
He was right there.
Away from him through the finish line, but super close door to door, right through the middle. And you can see right here as the scores are coming in, obviously that mistake too much to overcome.
So that Boost Race Fuel Toyota Supra performance. Sam's Autoland, how's it going? Sam Cascanian, the homeboy. Man, need to hit up Sam. Gosh, I love Sam. He's a fantastic human being. All right, he's running that Link Engine Management and the American Ethanol RX-8 of Kyle Mohan, the Mazda RX-8, Mazda tricks. Oh boy, up. Now Kyle Mohan looked like, I saw the headlights go on and off. I wonder if he was having an issue there. But here goes JTP, initiates high in the bank. JTP running his own game as Kyle Mohan not part of the picture, just out of frame. Oh, Mohan, whoa, wide swing as he enters into that second outside zone. And he brings it around. All right.
I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think Mohan may have gone 4 off after inside clip number 2. Let's take a look. Obviously does not get a great jump against Justin Pollock, and you cannot sleep on the line against JTP.
You can't let Justin have that gap.
Yeah, he is gone, and that is some massive angle on outside zone 1, ripping through the course. Mohan trying to come through the smoke line here. Has a little bit of a flub there, but right there, watch, 1, 2, 3. It looks like the 4th tire is right on the line, but either way, it's a big, big mistake on a battle where he wasn't much of a factor. So now we will switch things up. Kyle Mohan will go to the lead as Justin Pollock will chase him down here in the top 32. Or maybe not.
No, so we are finding out that Kyle Mohan debeated. Again, you cannot utilize a competition timeout in order to fix a debeat. If ever, come on, there we go. All the way, oh, it's dying on the vine down there. JTP, Justin Pollock, I'll lay out, listen up. JTP crosses the finish line, and he'll cross his way into top 16. All right, let's get this wave going. Let's start it. All right. Wait, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. This guy's fully torqued. He's ready to take it over. These guys. All right, he's again. We'll see them June 18th and 19th. Here we go. Dan Burkett out front. Jonathan Hurst. A very late initiation from Hurst. Now Burkett. Almost an alternation of positions. And now into that second inside clip goes Dan Burkett. And Dan Burkett, this is very similar to what we saw in that first battle. Is this considered inactive chase? Does he have the horsepower or lack of horsepower? What happened there, unfortunately, on second battle?
Well, we saw Dan with the mistake that was noticeable but not massive in his chase. But in the chase here by Jonathan Hurst, he's not really a factor, as you said, once again. And I think that is going to be massively outweighing the little mistake that Dan Burkett made. So now I think there is much more of a clearer path to justification for the judges on one driver over the other. We'll let them make it official, but we may be seeing Dan Burkett moving into the top 16 after a solid lead run here that, quite frankly, just left Jonathan Hurst kind of more or less in the dust.
All right, slide him left for Hurst or right for Dan Burkett. Nope. Okay. Are we good? Is that right? Is that correct? And we are good. Dan Burkett gets the win. Had a straightforward start. Dan Burkett way too aggressive. So as you said, Ryan, just to reiterate that. So again, retracting the statement at second glance. Let's see how Dan Burkett shapes up here, and also, of course, Jonathan Hurst in the chase position. We are clear to send. And again, that chase car can leave prior to the lights being extinguished. Here we go. So Dan Burkett, good initiation now, and look, he's high up, but Jonathan Hurst, he's not all the way up there, and man, let's see if he can catch up. As Jonathan Hurst, nowhere to be found. And Dan Burkett way back there, but Ryan, the question is, so yes, Dan Burkett probably at proximity, lower, I mean, neither were absolutely phenomenal chase runs.
Well, this is the thing that I guess, I don't want to say, irritates me the most, but the thing that I don't like the most is when there's a clear opportunity here for Jonathan Hurst to basically close the door and put an exclamation point on this, and he doesn't really take advantage of it on this run. In fact, he's so far back, this could be looked at as an inactive chase. I mean, look at that. That's 10, 12 car lengths there.
He's not doing it by design, though. I think he just got a bad start.
Understandable. Of course, he's not doing it by design, but we obviously know the car has enough grip to keep up with the rest of the cars in the series. So something is not going right here, and it's going to make it much more ambiguous for the judges about whether or not there really was a victor here. And unfortunately, we may see something that in any other world would be counterintuitive, but because of the mistakes, it's going to make sense.
All right, so as we see Dan Burkett finish the right there, just goes across the finish line, finishes out that second outside zone. Let's see if we have a verdict, an outcome of this battle. Jonathan Hurst. We are more than halfway through our top 32. Denofa versus Reeder, Forsberg versus Gittin, and scores are in. Who is going against JTP? One more time, and there it is, an OMT. And Ryan Lantain, if you could throw your cams, Cadillac, ATSV, Liqui Moly, Yellow Speed. Here we go. Ryan Turk, Gumout, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback. He's on those Ditto tires. All right, initiating into that bank. See Taylor Hull a little bit higher than Ryan Turk. Look at that. Well done by Taylor Hull. And now Ryan Turk grips up coming through the power rally. And look at that. The Cadillac ATS comes through, pokes out, and gets into the groove like Madonna. There you have it. Well done, Ryan Turk. And, man, Taylor Hull on that bank. Definitely a contender.
Yeah, I mean, just remember that the lead driver is setting the pace. Even if the chase driver is higher on the bank, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing what the judges want you to do. You have to follow the lead driver where their line is. So I think Taylor Hall does a good job here, but for clarity's sake,
yeah, right here,
wherever the lead driver goes, there should be a chase driver following him to show that dominance. Right here, Ryan Turk comes through the center. Pretty good line there. We saw Taylor Hall make a little bit of adjustment coming through that section, and we continue to see the middle part of the course be very challenging for a lot of drivers. Here it is from the drone. Turk with that sweeping initiation, and right there, Hall trying to keep the pressure on. Great job right there on the back bumper of Ryan Turk. Coming through the smoke line here, this is where he's going to lose a little bit of angle there and hit that inside clip near the front of his bumper. So we're seeing the lead run from Ryan Turk, the chase run from Taylor Hall, and now we will switch things up with Taylor Hall going to the lead and Ryan Turk chasing him down.
Yep, Taylor Hall, those Nexen tires on the corners. He will be leading. Here we go. All right, Taylor Hall throws it in, massive angle there. Ryan Turk just quickly gets to the side of the caddy. Oh man, Taylor Hall dragging bumper. Man, both the attitudes of the vehicles. See him just ships in the night. Here we go. Look at that. Taylor puts the Cadillac right in the crease. Well done by Taylor Hall and Ryan Turk.
Just no slouches in this series. Last year we saw Taylor Hall and Jeff Jones break into the top 10, and we're seeing Hall continue a pretty impressive approach here in 2021. Going up against Ryan Turk, who's top 3 in points, going into the final round at Irwindale, looking for a championship of his own. Both drivers really giving it their all here, wrapping around this final outside zone. Turk falling back a little bit here, giving some ground to Taylor Hall as they cross through the finish line. And looks like drivers, even after Road Atlanta, really getting those vehicles prepped for a much different course here at Orlando Speed World. Who's it going to be, Ryan Turk or Taylor Hall in the top 32?
All right, let's see who advances on here. Ryan, do you have any way you're kind of leaning Tower of Pisa, Ryan?
No, but let's evaluate here the side-by-side, the BC Racing side-by-side, and see if we can give ourselves a little bit more insight. Ryan Turk leading on the left, Taylor Hall leading on the right. Let's take a look at both of those inside clips from either driver. That's that little mistake that Hall made in the chase position, but then Hall pulls a little bit of a gap on Turk towards the end in their lead run, and he closes the door on the chase run. So a little bit of a back and forth battle here between two very different vehicles and two different drivers with different driving styles, trying to make their way into the top 16 here at round 2.
Okay, that BC Racing side-by-side graphics. BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. BC Racing, go for gold. Scores are in. Slide them left for Turk, right for Hall. One more time from one of our judges. One of them says Ryan Turk, and the other says one more time. Is that correct? So 2 one more times there, going at it again. Ryan, do you agree with that call there? Taylor Hall has really made that Cadillac a very competitive car. He is one to watch. Here we go, our one more time battle. Turk and Hall. Turk initiates into the bank. High on the bank goes Turk. Oh, look at Taylor Hall, drops into formation with that intimidator of a vehicle. Massive angle from Ryan Turk. Look at Taylor Hall transition, snaps back. Taylor Hall a little bit deeper on the inside clip, taking it home as a souvenir. And Ryan Turk gets in the crease, licks the stamp, and sends it. Well done, Ryan Turk and Taylor Hall. Watch this again, Ryan. You saw Taylor Hall a little low, and then boom, just a little yank of the brake and just pulled it right and backed it right in.
Well, we got it one more time on our hands here. Ryan Turk diving down for that aggressive flick into the big bank. Taylor Hall unfazed by it. Knew the timing that he needed to get into with Ryan Turk, and gets right up there alongside him as well. Turk coming down, bouncing and compressing that suspension. Taylor Hall really in a really good way avoids the smoke line, but does come up a bit tight on that inside clip, and then loses a little bit of ground here to Turk, who's got a really thick smoke line developing through the finish line. So great first half of the battle as we take a look at Ryan Turk and Taylor Hall.
All right, so let's see what we got here. You can see that sun is setting, and Taylor Hull just wiggles his way on back right next to Ryan Turk. You saw Ryan Turk go about the 3rd hash mark, and Taylor Hull go too tight and center punch that 2nd inside clip. Oh no, Taylor Hull calls a comp timeout. Oh boy, here we go. That next tire just tight on the inside of that Koenig wheel. Ah, such a bummer. Love the way Taylor Hull has progressed. 4-cylinder turbo nitrous Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ryan Turk advances on with Mobil 1 flowing through the veins. Here's Ryan Turk at the BC Racing suspension, getting challenged there on that transition from the bank to the flat bottom. Looking a lot more comfortable now, obviously with just one car on track. There's Ryan Turk moving on in the top 16. He will be going against Dean Carnage Carney in the top 16. 4 more battles left in 32, already in Chelsea. So Castro just shy 800 horsepower is what he claims. Dean Carney claiming 1,300 horsepower. And again, I talked about it in the driver's intro. Dean put a spike through the tip of his finger while working on his vehicle yesterday. I don't know if it's actually on IG still. It might have been in stories, but it looked really painful. Said just sitting there, no problem. But then when they went to pull it out, it was definitely painful. So Dean Carnage Carney with a K. Yep, it's still there. Go ahead and look back. It's pretty gnarly. All right, here we go. Jonathan Castro represented DR, that Mobil 1. Next tire, Toyota Racing Toyota 86. Dean Carnage Carney, the Oracle lights shining on the side of that 86. Yo, Castro! Woo! Oh, doctor, look at this. Dean Carnage Carney lunges to the side. Both these guys are hungry. And look at Castro and Carnage zeroing in. The Viper's fangs are out, but Castro, he's got the anti-venom. Woo!
Well, a lot of history between these two drivers on this course in different ways, and now they meet up here. Dean Carney diving in right out of the gate in the pocket against Jonathan Castro. Castro with massive angle up top, whipping through that big sweeping bank, and now coming down in that inside clip number 1. Here comes Carney. A little bit of fire there as he comes through that inside clip, slightly less angle, but Jonathan Castro, massive angle, locked in, and then Dean says, hey, how you doing? Getting super close here as they come through the finish line, and a great run there to kick things off.
Yes, so good. All right, so Dexter the Pit, thanks for watching. And Zwing, I know you're at home watching as well. Shout out to Zwing as waiting for the second half of this battle. Look at that. Great proximity, and you know, didn't mimic the exact angle there, but definitely showed that aggression. Flying the DR flag. And this is his, I mean, this is his track. I would love to see Jonathan Castro get on the box, but you know who does it? Dean Carnage Carney. High on the bank. Woo! Making all that work pay off right now, but how's he going to handle the killer crossover? Over that jump, no problem for Dean Carnage Carney or Jonathan Castro. Getting right to the crease. Wow, great job by both the gentlemen.
Man, that thing is fast.
Yeah.
That Viper, I noticed it at Road Atlanta. It's become more apparent to me here today. And for somebody like Jonathan Castro to not even be able to keep up in that last turn is saying quite a lot. Dean, on his initiation, a tiny bit shaky. Didn't fully get to lock. Had a little slight bobble there. That allowed Castro to kind of stay close on the big bank, but he's doing really well out front in general. And then right here, he kind of puts the stamp on it and starts pulling away from Castro on this last half of this bank. I mean, just getting through this course incredibly fast. And I know a lot of the spotters take times. I'd imagine that one is really up there for Dean Carney. So, battle is all done. They wait on the sidelines for the judges' overall vote and who's going to be moving on into the top 16 as the sun is starting to set And we are getting close to finding out who our top 16 drivers are as we move into the nighttime.
Absolutely picturesque day. See the land? That's all yours as far as the eye can see. Here we go. So the BC Racing custom coilover, side by side. Let's take a look.
So you see Dean in his chase run, really putting the pressure on Castro. Castro with some moments there, that surging right before inside clip number 2. And then Castro in his lead on the left, beautifully done, but you can see Dean is really solid right there, door-to-door action from the Viper.
All right, as these two drivers await the outcome, we're going to continue with the action. So let's see. And scores are up. Slide him left for Castro, right for Carney. And it looks like Dean Carnage Carney gets the victory, and it is unanimous. Twist the screws on Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. Osbo in that Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra. On Nittos, Jonathan Nairn, Injuku Racing, BC Racing, S14. Make sure we are good to go. 4 more battles left, including this battle. And here we go as they leave the start line. Frederick Osbo, Jonathan Nairn. Osbo, nasty flick into that wall. Yeah, Waggarat. As Osbo now comes down from the bank. And then, oh, Nairn, wrong side of the tracks there, my friend. Oh, man, and he did that earlier. And Osbo continues on. That will be an obvious advantage, as that will be an incomplete for Nairn. Oh, man. Just came out of that smoke. Came in like a wrecking ball. Call him Miley.
Once again, the center section, the power alley, whatever you'd like to call it, claims another victim here. And let's see if it was the smoke line that was the culprit that got in the way of Jonathan Nairn. Osbo, solid lead run up on the big bank. Nairn right now behind the smoke line, and yes, he's right in it, transitions through, all 4 off. It looks like he notices once he gets out of the smoke line. So a really dangerous position to put himself in, losing contact with where he was on track, and then ends up going 4 off.
Look at the smoke. Oh, we are hearing that both are heading back to the pits. And Frederick Osbo calling a competition timeout. If Nairn, again, gets hands on his car, he would call a competition timeout. But surprisingly, the driver would step it up. And I'm wondering why Osbo called that competition timeout. Now Nairn rises to the occasion, literally. As Osbo, you can see him bathing in the smoke. And Nairn brings it around. And Ryan, a great lead run by Nairn, but just too much too late, or too little too late, but regardless, it's just too late to apologize, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was a great lead run from Nairn there, especially on the big bank. I mean, he was locked in there. Nice, smooth, fluid transition, or initiation rather, into the big bank with big angle. And I think maybe surprise Osbo for a second, but then Osbo gets right back on it, comes through the smoke line. A little bit of reduction in angle from Osbo there. And you see Nairn eyeing up this second outside zone. Here comes Osbo closing the door, super close, makes a slight adjustment on angle, and then gets back on it as they come through the finish line. And the scores are in.
Yeah, unfortunately for Nairn, I believe they're going to slide left. And yes, there they are. So, yeah, Osbo threw a serpentine belt. So I think that's what it is, yeah. All right, yeah. Yeah, it looks exactly like that, Ryan. If you could see Ryan and his hand movements, he looked just like a Ninja Turtle. Here we go, no strikes here for Jeff Jones as we continue on with this battle. You gotta imagine it's playing a little bit of a psyche here with 2 restarts. Jeff Jones out front. Ken Gucci right there as he tucks in. A lot of disruption with those vehicles going over the jump. Now Jeff Jones in that second outside zone. Nice job by Jones. And Ken Gucci, close proximity. Doesn't get all the way as deep as Jones. A good, solid lead run from Dr. Jones.
Hey, Jeff Jones, he's the talk of the town these days, sitting 4th in the championship, trying to build off of that here in round 2. Nice swinging initiation, but Ken Gushi not afraid to go into the first zone with them. Be aggressive on the approach. Great angle there by Jones. Gushi just slightly lower, but still trying to match that angle. Now coming through the inside clip, Gushi just grazing it. Now transitioning back around, Jones setting up for this final outside zone with Gushi just about a car length away. Starting to close the door, keeping the pressure on a slightly tighter line there by Gushi. And a good first half of the battle here from Jeff Jones and Ken Gushi, as now the sun really starting to set. We get into the nighttime. How is that going to affect these drivers? Beautiful job there by Jones out front, and Ken Gushi giving him a nice chase as well. A lot of detail coming out from this drone here.
Yeah.
You see the movement of the vehicles, you see the line very clearly.
Love the perspective.
Let's mix it up.
Mix it up, chop it up. That's it. Here we go. Ken Gushi out front. Jeff Jones in the chase position. Like you said, Ryan, Jeff fourth in the championship. Ken Gushi, Gretty, Toyota Racing, Toyota Supra. Running those BC internals. Run BC. Shout out Brian Crowder as clean start. There we go. Across the nose of Jeff Jones and his 370Z. Ken Gushi high on the bank. Nice job by Ken Gushi. Past that first inside clip. Jeff Jones comes out of the smoke right there on the side of the Toyota Supra. Look at Jeff Jones right on the door of Ken Gushi and brings it across. A great chase job by Jeff Jones. Wow, talk about having the car, the perfect marriage right now. A great lead run, and Ryan, we always say that a good lead run will always create a good chase run.
Yeah, and it is a solid lead run here from Gushi. Notice right out of the gate, he jumps up right to the top of the bank and gets right back on throttle. Jones is down a little bit lower there. He's trying to keep that same angle, but Gushi, I think, betters him on the big bank. Hits that inside clip, and then as you said, this is where Jones starts to attack. Comes through the smoke line, sucks up on the inside here. Gushi trying to get as deep as he can into this zone, but Jones not letting him get away. Great perspective there, seeing both drivers come through the finish line there, and Jones angling up to avoid contact. So we got a battle on our hands here. Judges looking at both leads together, both chases together, and who did better overall. And as you said, Jared, a very excellent job by Ken Gushi in the lead position that kind of allowed this attack right here from Jeff Jones. Made a slight little reduction in angle, but notice how he corrected it quickly and then did this. Locked in right there.
Wow.
And that is some solid drifting in the chase position by Jeff Jones.
Yo, absolutely just getting after it. As reminds me of Dan Brockett had these shoes one time, the Winkle Pickers. They're these shoes that are kind of shaped like utensils. He's just really going for it. Dan Brockett. And, actually, Raphael is rude. Michelangelo is a party dude. So, just FYI. Here is your BC Racing custom coilover, side by side, going for gold. Speaking of going for gold, look at that. So Gushi was strong on the chase on the front, but you know that's where you really want to shine. Ken Gushi was even off, and I think that allowed actually Jeff Jones to get to that side of that Toyota Supra. A great battle regardless on the outcome. Round of applause for both these guys, Ken Gushi, Jeff Jones. Scores are in. Slide them left for Jones, right for Gushi, and Jeff Jones gets the win. Jeff Jones advances on into the top 16. So Jones will go against Osbo or Naren. And remember, Osbo with that competition timeout. So Naren will lead. See how that land, Ryan? That's all yours, as far as the eye can see. You are the Drift King, Ryan. Did you know that? No? You know, Hakuna Matata to you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Means no worries for the rest of the day. That's what I'm saying. Here we go. Jonathan Naren will lead. Frederick Osbo will give chase. So Naren, if you can recall, when they went, youngest driver ever to go head-to-head in a Formula Drift competition. And Sorensen will lead. Brandon Sorensen qualified 6th compared to Yves Meyer, who was in that not so great 8 yesterday, our new knockout qualifying format. We take the lowest 8 scores regardless of the entered vehicles. Yesterday we had 32 vehicles, so the 8 that competed were seeded. They were in, but they still had to go at it again. So here we go, Brandon Sorensen, that 2-on-2 performance. BMW going against Yves Meyer in the Drift Force BMW. Let's see what we got. Sorensen out front. Tap the brakes a little bit, working it in. A little left brake tap. High on the bank goes Sorensen. Yves Meyer not as high as Sorensen powers through that jump and in that second clip. A lot of those chase drivers get thrown off through the smoke. Yves makes a small correction to get out and deeper on that second outside zone, Ryan. Good job by Yves Meyer in the chase, but I gotta tell you, Brandon had a very dominant lead run, Ryan.
Yeah, the kid is here to
He's here to party.
He's here to party, here to play, and certainly showing a lot of skill after round 1 and continuing into round 2. So let's take a look here as Meyer is trying to look for an opportunity here to attack on the inside. You can see he's kind of trying to pick a position here, but Sorensen really fast out of the hole and then does a great job on the bank. Stays consistent through a really tough part of the course and doesn't really allow Meyer to kind of get close to him and give him that attack. So we see Meyer unable to kind of close the door towards the end there, or in the middle and only towards the end. Let's take a look at it from above. Really fast approach there from Sorensen. Does a great job staying nice and high on the bank. You can see that Meyer was trying to make those adjustments to get up there with Sorensen, try to match that line and angle. And then here coming through the smoke line, did a pretty good job to manage that, but then came too tight on that second inside clip and nearly center punched it. So now we will switch things up. Let's see if Yves can come back.
He's, again, from 32 to 16 to 8 in Atlanta. Sorensen really wants to gain some ground here in Orlando. Yves Meyer, are you going to feel the drift force? Here we go. Sorensen jumps to the side of Meyer. Look at that. Brandon Sorensen right there. Yves Meyer comes down. The young buck gets bucked as he comes off the bank. And look at that. Looks like he went to the side. Oh, we got to take a look at the replay. And Yves Meyer, a bit of a gift here from Brandon Sorensen. An amazing chase job. What went wrong, Ryan?
Well, it looks like it was a combination of coming down off the bank, the compression of the suspension, and just a little bit too much angle. You could see that Sorensen was really aggressive out of the gate. He really gave no room whatsoever to Yves Meyer. Tremendous job there, but as he gets stuck in the smoke line, he's going to angle up right there and have a compression of the suspension at the same time and really not able to pull out of it at that point. So
Ryan, did he DB?
He may have done that as well, but I think it looked like it was starting to happen before he came off. So like right around there. So maybe right at the dip.
At the impact, at the transition from the bank to the flat portion. I bet he slammed down, DB'd, and that caused him to roll.
Do we have a confirmation of the DB, or
the judges are speculating? Yeah.
Well, whatever the case may be, it is going to be an incomplete in the chase position, and let's make it official.
Well, look at that, Brandon. Hey, dude, keep it up. Looking forward to seeing you at Englishtown Raceway. And jeez. No, I did not say that. I said G's. I said G-E-E-Z. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Wow. I said G's. No, relax. Zero chill. Oh, boy. Here we go. Kazuya Taguchi, Adam LZ.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wow. Adam LZ
Something
in that
fell off.
Nitto tire. BC Racing, S15, Sylvia, Kazuya. Oh, and Adam LZ spins out.
Wheel to wheel.
Wheel to wheel, cheek to cheek, face to face. Oh man, we are minus that back bumper, minus the taillights, as Adam LZ doing it for the rage, little little rage drift there. Ryan, what happened here? Oh, the camera fell off. Yeah, no big
the
deal.
camera falls off Taguchi. That doesn't have anything to do with the battle. LZ aggressively approaching here, diving in against Taguchi, trying to keep that proximity on. You got to give some respect to that. But now right there, he's going to bump Taguchi, I think, wheel to wheel. And a lot of times what can happen there is it causes the front driver to spin out. But
no wheel to
in
wheel.
this case, it was the front bumper going into the door of Taguchi. And unfortunately, Adam LZ spins out. Here it is from above, Jared. I love this aggressive approach from LZ, and great job by Taguchi keeping high on the bank. Just pushes a little bit too hard there. And Ryan Lantana, if we could bring you on, how close was that to?
So may have phased LZ a little bit there, but yeah, he was wobbling a little bit.
Adam LZ will now be out front. He is looking for Kazuya Taguchi to make a mistake, and LZ needs to have a really gangster run in this LZ S15. Right now, that's a good start. Kazuya Taguchi not as high as Adam LZ. And this is, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. As Kazuya Taguchi dives in on the inside, he taps that second inside clip. Adam LZ in the crease. But Ryan, as good as that lead run was, it just does not offset a spin out. So unfortunately, all of the Adam LZ fans, I believe that's going to be all she wrote for him. Quick retirement, 32.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that LZ is here to stay. He's at a super high competitive level. Every driver makes mistakes, and unfortunately, he got the raw end of it on this one. But Taguchi playing a good, strategic, veteran-style type role here, stayed back a little bit in order to not get caught up and make a major mistake or have an incomplete of his own. We get to see some beautiful driving out here from Adam LZ out front. Nice angle, really locked into a deep part of that outside zone. So fans getting a little bit of a treat there, but unfortunately, as you said, Jared, it's just too much to overcome as we now go to the judges.
Yep, our final battle, 32 to forge the top 16. It looks like Kazuya Taguchi will get the win. Kazuya Taguchi gets the win.